Hi there, Turgeon here, bringing you physics from afar. This is really an introduction to the summer work. I want to try to keep the videos brief, but I've also gotten the feedback that if I rush too much, you don't really get much out of the video. So I'm going to do what I do. I'm trying to go fast, just know that. This really is the beginning of a conversation. Even if they're not questions that you ask until September, think of this as I'm just sort of getting the ball rolling. And then you're supposed to generate thoughts, questions, insights, clarifications, and we go back and forth this summer. I can't promise how much I'll be able to engage in meetings and videos and other things this summer. I won't necessarily respond to emails for weeks at a time, but just bear in mind that this is all extra. This is stuff that we would cover only over a couple of days of school. Let me take you on a tour of Google Classroom and then we'll talk about the rest of this stuff. So here is the classwork page, obviously, for Google Classroom. We've got essentially 3 assignments. These are beginning of the year type things. The physics trig, as a rule of thumb, you're going to submit photos to show that you did stuff and not just the answers, but shown work. So again, as a rule of thumb throughout the year, if I ever assign anything that's meant to be done on paper, I'd say that the default is you do it on paper and you submit a photo. These should be good to go now. This one's going to require a video to go along with it. I may or may not record a video to help you with the physics algebra. I will be recording a video to help you with the physics trig. Later, I will later post answers to these two where you get the where you can then make corrections to that and post photos to show that you made corrections. For the first meeting agenda, I've added something. That's this piece right here. I've added something which is a list of topics. A lot of these you covered in ninth grade physics, and that's one of the questions a lot of people asked. This is very different from ninth grade physics, especially in terms of the difficulty level and the depth. But a lot of it's, I mean, there's some exercises that'll do the same exact activities or the same exact demos as we did in ninth grade physics. We're just going to get a bit more sophisticated with them. So people say you should take notes. Let's talk about what that means to take notes. As a rule of thumb throughout the year, you don't want to think of notes as just writing what I write. So here's a suggested format. I could even give you this document if you want. But you should always have a meaningful title. You should always have some identifying information about the date, or sometimes there are entry numbers or whatever. Think of notes. Here's a big takeaway. Okay, this is useful throughout all of high school, college, graduate school, and beyond. When you take notes, you need to be an active learner and an active note taker. Like, take initiative. So you're going to write everything. Yes, this is all the stuff that people think of as writing down, the information, but don't forget about the thinking. Change up the color so you can easily identify that. This is really the thoughtful studying part. You're rewording things in your own way. You're writing down questions, summarizing things for yourself, trying to use your own words, or even just picking up on things that the teacher is emphasizing. I want you to be aware that this whole year, you got to think of it as, what am I doing here that I couldn't do on YouTube or whatever? That I couldn't just read a book. Like, who learns physics from a book? Who learns math from a book? Very few people can do it. There are some exceptions, but most people can't learn physics from a book. Most people, they can feel like they learned about a lot by listening to the YouTuber, but they don't get that back and forth, that feedback, that one-on-one attention, or even like the 1-on-5 attention if I'm going from group to group and interacting. You can't really learn physics from Wikipedia. I mean, you can learn facts. You can remember facts. So what is it then? That's what I'm impressing upon you, is this whole year, when we're thinking about what physics is, I've got a story to tell. There are themes here. There are different facets of what physics is that I'm going to convey to you from September to June. Remember, don't stress. I mean, I know this is going to be a high pressure situation. I know this summer you're going to put pressure on yourself because now there's something for you to think about and you can worry if I understand it well enough. Think of this as bonus time. Okay, you can clear up confusion in a half an hour. That would have, that on your own might take you like 4 hours. No stress allowed. You're not supposed to understand every single problem. You're supposed to generate a lot of questions. This has been Physics from Afar.